Let's talk about 5 Parkinson's symptoms that make daily life harder than people realize. Because people love to judge Parkinson's from the outside. They look at whether you shake, they look at how you walk, they look at whether you look sick. And then somehow they think they understand the whole story, which is cute. It's wrong, but cute. Because Parkinson's can be obvious, hidden, or somewhere in the messy middle. And stick around because Carmen is actually joining us today for Carmen's Care Partner Corner. See, we received a message this week from somebody who said that they were skeptical I even had Parkinson's because I don't look the way they expected Parkinson's to look. Carmen read it, and Carmen had thoughts. And if you've ever been stared at, doubted, judged, or told, but you look fine, you're going to want to hear what Carmen has to say.
Welcome to Living with Parkinson's. The good, the bad, and the reality. Real talk, real life, real community with Bryce Perry. Let's begin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the broadcast. My name is Bryce, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40, and that was about 16 years ago. And today we're talking about 5 Parkinson's symptoms that make daily life harder than people realize. Not because we want sympathy, not because we want a parade, although if there is a parade, I would like to request a float, snacks, and a bathroom nearby. but because Parkinson's is misunderstood all the time. Sometimes people can see it and they still don't understand it. Sometimes people can't see it and they don't believe it. So let's get into it. All right, number 1, morning stiffness and slowness are harder than people realize. People hear stiffness and they think, yeah, I get stiff too. Okay, but Parkinson's stiffness is not, I slept funny. Parkinson's stiffness can feel like your body was parked overnight in a snowbank and nobody plugged in your heater. You wake up and nothing wants to move. Your legs are stiff, your back is stiff, your hands don't want to cooperate, and your feet feel like they forgot that they're part of the team. And before the day even starts, you're negotiating already. Can I roll over? Can I sit up? Can I get to the bathroom? Can I get my medication? Can I get my body online before the world starts asking me to be a functioning adult? And that is what people don't see. You know, they see you later, maybe after your meds have kicked in, maybe after you've warmed up, maybe after your coffee has entered the group chat and they say, you look pretty good. And maybe you do, but they didn't see the first hour. They didn't see the slow shuffle. They didn't see the stiffness. They didn't see the mental pep talk just to start the day. You see, Parkinson's mornings can feel like your body is rebooting with the spinning wheel of death. And sometimes it loads, sometimes it crashes, sometimes it asks you if you want to install updates from 1987. So if mornings are hard for you, give me a me too in the comments. And know this, you're not lazy, you're not dramatic, you're not failing before the day starts. You're living with a disease that can make the simplest beginning feel like a full body committee meeting where nobody read the agenda. Drop morning in the comments if that one hits, because somebody else is going to see this and think, okay, it's not just me. All right, number 2. Fatigue is harder than people realize. And I don't mean tired. Tired is cute. Tired is, I stayed up late watching Netflix. Parkinson's fatigue is different. Parkinson's fatigue can feel like somebody reached into your body and stole your battery, replaced it with a potato, and then asked why you're not more positive. It can hit suddenly. It can make your arms feel heavy. It can make your brain foggy. And it can make simple things feel ridiculous. Folding laundry, too much. Making lunch, too much. Answering a text, somehow also too much. And the hard part is, you can look completely normal while feeling absolutely drained. And that's why fatigue gets misunderstood. People think, well, you seemed fine yesterday. Yes, that was yesterday. Yesterday I had a battery. Today I have fumes, hope, and a suspicious cup of coffee. Fatigue can change your plans. It can make you cancel things you wanted to do. It can make you leave early. It can make you stop saying yes because you don't know who you're going to be when that day comes. That's not flaky. That's Parkinson's math. You wake up with 12 energy points and somehow showering costs 8. So when someone with Parkinson's says, I'm tired, please understand they might not mean sleepy. They might mean my whole system is done and I still have to pretend I'm okay because explaining this again feels exhausting too. All right. Well, if this video is hitting home already, give it a like, please. Not for me, for the person sitting at home thinking that they're weak because fatigue is wrecking their life and nobody around them gets it. That one click helps YouTube show it to somebody who needs to hear you're not lazy, this is real. All right, moving along here is number 3. Walking, balance, and freezing are harder than people realize. And this one can be very visible for some people. People may see the shuffle. They may see the freezing. They may see the cane, the walker, the stiffness, the slow steps, and the careful turning. But even when people see it, they still might not understand what it costs. Because walking with Parkinson's is not just walking. It becomes a full-time risk assessment. Where's the curb? Is the floor shiny? Is there a rug? Are there stairs? Is someone behind me? Is the restaurant crowded? Can I get into that chair without doing a surprise interpretive dance that nobody asked for? And freezing? Well, freezing sounds fake until it happens to you. Your brain says go, and your legs say interesting suggestion, but we're currently closed for renovations. And there you are, stuck. And not because you're not trying, not because you forgot how legs work, but because Parkinson's interrupted the signal. And if that happens in public, now you're dealing with symptoms and the pressure of being watched. And you know what? Pressure makes everything worse. Parkinson's loves pressure. Pressure is like seasoning for the symptoms. Suddenly, people are behind you. Somebody's waiting. Someone's staring. Your brain starts yelling, move. And your legs are like, no, thank you. We've entered airplane mode. And then comes the confidence hit. That's the part people don't always understand. The physical symptom is really hard, but the confidence hit, that can last even longer. After you freeze, stumble, trip, or have a close call, your brain remembers that. And the next time you go out, your brain says, hey, remember that happened? You want to panic early? Thank you, brain. Very helpful. That's 1 star, and I would not recommend it. So for everybody watching whose Parkinson's is visible, I want to say this clearly. You deserve to be seen without being stared at. You deserve help without being treated like a child. And you deserve patience without pity. And you deserve to move through the world without feeling like every step is being reviewed by Olympic judges. If walking, balance, or freezing is part of your life, drop walking in the comments. Let's make sure that nobody feels alone in that one. Okay, number 4. Now, I just talked about this in the last podcast, but its bathroom issues are harder than people realize. And yes, we're going back into the bathroom because apparently Parkinson's has no boundaries, and neither do we on this channel. Constipation, urgency, bladder issues, bowel issues, bathroom anxiety, medication timing, planning your day around whether your body is going to cooperate like a mature adult or act like a raccoon trapped in a grocery store. Nobody wants to talk about this. You know, people will talk about tremors, and they'll talk about stiffness and they'll talk about exercise. But bathroom issues, suddenly everybody acts like the topic walked into church wearing tap shoes. But this is real. Constipation can affect your whole day. You can feel bloated, sluggish, heavy, uncomfortable, irritable. And sometimes your meds feel like they're just not working right because your digestive system has turned into a traffic jam with no options. And urgency? Well, urgency is its own little horror movie. 1 minute you're fine, and the next minute your bladder sends a breaking news alert directly to your soul. And suddenly going to Costco is no longer just going to Costco, it's a mission. Right? We talked about this. Where are the bathrooms? How far is the entrance? Is there a lineup? Can I make it past the sample table? Why is there always someone walking slowly in front of me when my bladder has declared a national emergency? And people don't see the planning. They don't see you choosing restaurants based on bathroom location or access. They don't see you sitting near the aisle. They don't see you skipping events. They don't see the anxiety. They just see the decision and sometimes think you're being difficult. But you're not being difficult. You're trying to protect your dignity. And that is why bathroom issues are harder than people realize. They're not just bathroom issues. They can affect your freedom, your confidence, your independence, and whether you feel safe leaving the house. And care partners, this matters. If the person you love brings this up, they may already feel embarrassed before they even say it. So compassion matters, not teasing, no eye rolling, not just, simple things like, just go before we leave. Sometimes the best thing you can say is, okay, how can we make this easier? And that sentence can remove a mountain of shame. Or if that one hit home, drop a me too in the comments. And yes, I know that feels awkward, but somebody else is going to read those words and feel less alone. And honestly, if we can talk about dopamine, levodopa, DBS, constipation, urgency, and fart confidence on this channel, I think we can survive a comment section. We're adults, mostly. Okay, number 5, and don't forget, Carmen's coming up with Carmen's Care Partner Corner. You don't want to miss that. But number 5 is this: being judged, doubted, or misunderstood is way harder than people realize. And this is where it all connects. Because whether your Parkinson's is visible, invisible, or somewhere in the middle, people make assumptions. If your symptoms are very visible, people may stare. They may rush you. They may pity you. They may talk to you differently. They may see your tremor, your shuffle, your freezing, your stiffness, or your speech changes and think they understand your whole life. And if your symptoms are less visible, people may doubt you. They may say, but you look fine. They may think that you're exaggerating. They may wonder why you need help at all. They may not understand why you're exhausted, stiff, foggy, anxious, uncomfortable, or suddenly different when your medication wears off. And both are hard. Being stared at because Parkinson's shows is hard. Being doubted because Parkinson's doesn't show enough is hard. And nobody should have to perform their disease for somebody else's approval. This week we received a message from someone who said they were skeptical I even had Parkinson's because I don't look the way they expected Parkinson's to look. And I'm not bringing that up to attack the person. I'm bringing it up because it points to something bigger. A lot of people think Parkinson's has one look. They think it always means tremor. They think it always means shaking. They think if you can laugh, talk, sit under studio lights, make a joke, or have a good moment, then maybe it's not that bad. Maybe you don't have it. But that's not how Parkinson's works. I record during a good window. I sit down, I prepare, I plan around my medication. So you're seeing a controlled moment right now. You're not seeing the whole day. And that's true for so many people. Some people show symptoms immediately, and some people don't. Some people fluctuate. Some people look okay at dinner and then pay for it when they get home. Some people can walk into a room one way and leave completely different. Now, that does not make it fake. That makes it Parkinson's. All right, it's now time for Carmen's Care Partner Corner. Carmen read that message, and she had some thoughts about what people don't see, what care partners do see, and why nobody with Parkinson's should have to prove they're sick enough to be believed. Carmen, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. As Bryce's wife, I recently read an email from someone suggesting that he might not even have Parkinson's. And I won't pretend that that did not make me angry. Not because people can't ask questions, not because we can't have conversations, but because questioning someone's diagnosis based on how they look in a video is hurtful. Part of her reasoning was that she has cared for her husband with Parkinson's for 15 years, and Bryce doesn't look like him. But that's exactly the point. Parkinson's disease does not look the same from one person to the next. Some people have tremors, some people don't. Some people freeze, some don't. Some people have symptoms you can see right away, and some people are fighting symptoms you may never notice from the outside. Progression is different. Medication response is different. Energy levels are different. Symptoms can change by the hour. And what you see on camera is not always the full story. People see Bryce when he's prepared. They see him sitting down. They see him doing something he loves. They see him in a moment where he's ready to show up. But I see the before and the after. I see the stiffness. I see the fatigue. I see the planning. I see the frustration. I see the days where his body doesn't cooperate. I see how much energy it can take to look away. And I also know many people watching this have Parkinson's that is very visible. People may see their tremor, their walking, their freezing, their facial masking, or their voice changes right away. And they get judged too. So this isn't about saying one version of Parkinson's is harder than the other. It's about saying Parkinson's is complicated and nobody should have to prove they are sick enough to be believed. I live this disease with Bryce every single day. I watch what Parkinson's takes from him, and I also watch him choose every single day to give back to this community anyway. We can disagree, we can debate ideas, we can have hard conversations, but questioning someone's diagnosis because their Parkinson's doesn't match someone else's is not fair, and it's not kind. There is a real person and a real family on the other side of every screen, and this community deserves compassion. People living with Parkinson's deserve compassion. Care partners deserve compassion. And before we judge what someone's Parkinson's should look like, maybe we should remember that we might only be seeing their best 5 minutes. And the last thing I want to say is that if I ever have the pleasure of meeting you or your husband, I promise you, I will not judge. I will not judge him or you because you're living your experiences and they're fair. I ask that you do the same. Thanks, everybody.
Wow, thank you, Carmen. I think that line says it all. You might only be seeing the person's best 5 minutes. That's the whole point. Parkinson's doesn't always look the same. It does not need to shake on command. It doesn't need to freeze in public. It doesn't need to show up exactly how somebody expects. It is real whether it's obvious or hidden. And daily life with Parkinson's can be harder than most people realize. Mornings can be harder, fatigue can be harder, walking can be harder, bathroom issues can be harder, and being misunderstood can be harder. Not because we're weak, not because we want attention, not because we're being dramatic, but because Parkinson's affects so much more than people see. It affects the body, the brain, the confidence, the routine, the relationships, the planning, the independence, and sometimes your ability to trust your own next step. And here's what I want to know in the comments today. Which one do people around you misunderstand the most? Morning stiffness, fatigue, walking imbalance, bathroom issues, or feeling judged, doubted, or misunderstood? Drop the one that hits the hardest. And if you've ever heard, but you look fine, or if you ever felt stared at because your symptoms were visible, drop, I felt that. Because somebody else will read that and feel less alone. All right. Well, you made it this far. You've unlocked today's Bryce-ism, and here it is. Parkinson's. Because apparently your body can feel 90, your legs can act drunk, your bladder can file complaints, your brain can open 47 tabs at once, and yet strangers still want a full medical audit. Put that on a plaque. But here's the serious version. Parkinson's doesn't always look the same, but it always deserves to be believed. And that's the one I want you to remember. And if this episode helped you feel seen, share it with one person who needs to understand that Parkinson's is harder than it looks. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We're building a community here where we talk about the real stuff, the stuff people whisper about, and the stuff people are embarrassed by. The stuff that people Google at 2 a.m. and nobody sees. And you know what? It's after July now, so the club is open. It's a free community, and I'm inviting you, this is your personal invitation, to come and join the club. You do not have to do Parkinson's alone at all. So the link is in the description below. I'd love to see you all there. And you know what? Whatever you do, I want you to keep showing up. I want you to keep being real. Keep laughing when you can. Keep asking for help when you need it. And you keep doing life today. I love you so much. And remember, you're not alone. You never were. And you never will be again. I'll see you on the next episode.